Claire was such an easy baby and she was so independent. We just took her everywhere with us. We took her to Florida, we took her to the Dominican, just like threw her on a plane. She was the best. So we thought, okay, we can totally have one more baby. And then Joseph came and it was 10 pounds of joy, just 10 pounds of joy. And when I thought that I was going to have a little girl, I thought it was going to be like me, like this very princessy, wanted like dress up and wear makeup and shoes. But Claire is like such a tomboy. She always wants to wear pants. She wants to be out with her dad. She's always outside. She loves animals, anything to do with animals.
Claire loves to play with her dolls, her babies, putting them in the stroller, putting them in her baskets, carrying them around the house, pretending to feed them, pretending to play with them. Joseph is a high energy little man who loves to play with just about everything, from blocks to trucks, to the bouncing on the trampoline with his sister, bouncing on the trampoline with himself. He's just an absolute joy.
You just see every little thing that lights up their eyes, and then you're like taking a step back and you just start to enjoy those things too. We have been struggling for almost, I would say, 9 months with Claire having seizures, and once we would get one under control, another one would pop up, and all of a sudden she's having 3 types, and we're trying all these different types of medications and nothing is working. And my husband and I don't know anything about epilepsy. So we don't know anyone that's been really sick in our family. So we were just like thrown this major curveball. I'm on Google 24/7. I'm on Facebook chats with moms and like, what should we do? And finally, Sick Kids agrees to genetic testing after like months of us fighting with them. And I knew something wasn't right because they wouldn't give the results over the phone. And so they wanted us to come in, and we go in, and it's just a moment that you'll never forget, because life is always before this moment and after this moment. And she sat us down and she said, there's a possibility that Claire has Battens disease.
It is a progressive neurological disorder that slowly strips their ability to talk, to walk, to lose their vision, and eventually lose all their neurological ability.
They're not able to feed or eat. They usually get some type of dementia, and then they pass away usually between 10 and 12. And we were just blown away, like, what happens now? What do you mean? We just take our daughter home just to die? And she said, like, unfortunately in Canada there is no treatment. And that's what we did. We just went home, knowing that our daughter had this and that there was a 25% chance that Joseph had the disease as well.
Claire's diagnosis in January was heartbreaking. It took us till about the end of February to get clear confirmation of diagnosis. And in the middle of March, we got the dreadful news that her little brother Joseph had Battens disease as well.
There's just no words. Like, your world has just exploded. But I knew at that point that I was not just going to stay at home and let my daughter live through this. Like, there was no chance. So I was researching and on the phone with foundations and specialists in the States until I found this treatment.
We have pressed immensely to get them treatment, and they are on treatment, which is called Brineura.
the enzyme itself isn't totally covered by the government, and as Claire progresses into this disease, there's lots of things that she needs. There's a lot of equipment, and there's changes that we need to make to the house. And now if I need a break, I need to actually have a nurse in the home instead of just a babysitter or a nanny. And we want to make sure that she is keeping all of her muscles and her strength active. We don't want this disease to get a hold of her, so we keep her in a lot of therapy, horse and music and physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. So all of that has a huge cost.
Brineura has been an absolute lifesaver for Claire and Joseph, but the cost of the drug aside, the costs and the time associated with Claire and Joseph receiving treatment every 2 weeks are still great. It's a 10 to 12 hour day, sitting in the hospital, sitting in a hospital bed with a direct access needle into the port that is in their brain on a very slow drip that goes from 4 to 5 hours.
With Claire, we had been seeing seizures and difficulty walking, but with Joseph, he has met every single milestone. So when we got that call that he had the disease, I think I took it even harder than with Claire, just to know that your healthy little boy is not going to continue to grow that way. That's what's most important. I don't want them to be at the hospital every 2 weeks, had sick kids for 10 hours a day, getting an infusion just to keep them alive. Like, this is not how we want our life to be. I want them to have the best life possible, and I will do whatever I have to do to make that possible. And that's why I'm reaching out and I'm asking people to help us make that dream a reality. Like, let's get my kids cured. Let's not have any other family go through this. Like, the enzyme treatment is not an answer. The answer is gene therapy.